August 30th, 2023 at 11:56 a.m. What? I said, staring incredulously at the disheveled man sitting beside me on the park bench, gaze affixed to the ground. He reluctantly responded, "That's when you're going to die." He sounded exhausted, worn down, defeated, like a soldier coming home from war after his whole unit was wiped out. "That's in 2 minutes. I don't believe you. Believe what you want, kid. It makes no difference to me." He glanced up at me, dark purple bags hanging low under his sullen, gray eyes. "I will," I said, standing to leave. I'd taken no more than 2 steps when something massive crashed down behind me. I gasped, spinning on my heels. An enormous tree branch lay on the park bench, exactly where I'd been sitting. My eyes grew wide as dinner plates, and my heart began to palpitate wildly in my chest. He was right. "You're welcome," the man said, brushing stray leaves from his suit as he stood. He turned to walk away as I grasped for words. How the man's shoes clacked against the pavement as he left, snapping me from my stupor. I trotted up next to him. A million questions joggled around in my brain all at once, but one rose to the forefront of my mind. How did he know? "So, thanks for saving me." "Don't mention it," he said, without sparing me a passing glance. "How did you do that?" "Do what?" "Oh, come on. You know what I'm talking about. How did you know I was going to die?" The man stopped in his tracks, turning to face me. He locked eyes with me, sending a chill rippling through my body. "What, kid? I've had this ability ever since I was a child. It's a curse, and it's ruined my life. Be glad that you don't have to bear this burden." I stared behind him, pondering his statement. "I don't think it would be that bad. It might be nice to know when people are going to die so I can stop it. Like what you did with me." The man paused, his eyes lighting up as he looked down at me. "You would actually want this?" "Yeah, I don't think I'd mind," I admitted, shrugging my shoulders. "All right, kid, I'll make you a deal. I'll transfer my power to you. I get a free conscience, and you gain the ability to help as you see it. But I'll only do this on one condition," he said, a smug grin tugging at the corners of his lips. I cocked an eyebrow. There it was, the catch. "What, are you going to ask for my soul? Or something? If that's the case, then no deal." "Oh no, nothing major like that. I just want something small, inconspicuous, barely even worth mentioning. My condition is that you can't transfer the power back to me under any circumstances. That's all." A sense of relief washed over me at his revelation. "Why didn't you just say that in the first place?" "I'll do it," I said, motioning to shake on it. "I'm glad that we were able to come to an agreement." The man grabbed my hand with a ferocity that I hadn't known possible. Every muscle and tendon exploded with pain. I tried to yank my hand from the man's grip, but he was too strong. "Why are you doing this?" I stuttered as that awful sensation spread like wildfire to the rest of my body. "It's not up to me. Think of it as a down payment for the transfer." The man's visage glowed with pure elation as I dropped to the floor, thrashing violently, desperate to free myself from the absolute torture that I was being subjected to. My whole body ached, every cell in my system screaming in agony. I remember wondering if I was going to die, and then everything went black. I awoke to something scratchy poking me in the face. I groggily leaned up, rubbing my eyes. "Were you dead?" A boy no older than 5 was standing over me holding a stick. "A kid. Lovely. Nope, I was just tired, so I took a nap." "Where's your mom, buddy?" I asked, brushing away the rocks and dirt that clung to my arms. "She's over there," he said, pointing to a woman in a lavender cardigan sitting atop the same bench that I'd almost died on. "Well, you're a weirdo," he continued, much to my dismay, "and she doesn't let me talk to weirdos." Bye. And with that, he darted away. Normally I'd be happy to be left alone, but as I watched the boy run, my heart plummeted into my stomach, because a date suddenly flashed across my mind. December 18th, 2029. That meant the transfer had worked, but it also meant that boy only had 6 years to live. Wow, this isn't going to be easy. I gradually mustered up the courage to do the right thing. I shuffled up to the woman, anxiously mulling over the words in my mind. I knew that I was going to sound insane, but what else could I do? If I had the chance to save a life, then I needed to seize the opportunity. The woman gave me the once-over as I stood, scanning me up and down like she was a TSA agent sending me through a metal detector. I know this is going to sound strange, but I can see people's death dates. Your son's is December 18th of 2029. I just felt like I needed to say something, you know, in case there's a way to prevent it. The woman glared at me as she stood, dramatically snatching her purse. You're right, it does sound strange. And quite frankly, I think you belong in the loony bin. Stay away from me and my son. I grappled for something, anything to say as she furiously marched away, but I kept getting distracted by the number blaring in my mind the entire time I'd been talking to her. September 25th, 2074. I glanced at the boy as his mother hurriedly ushered him to the parking lot. I breathed a sigh of relief. December 16th, 2089. I'd done it. Mission accomplished. Or so I thought. I began walking through the park to return home, ready to plop down in my bed and take a much-needed nap. I was beat. As I continued on, I passed a number of people soaking in the golden afternoon sun, a soccer team practicing shooting drills, 2 preteen girls racing on their bikes, an elderly couple watching the ducks. I knew when they all were going to die. Dates began assaulting my brain like angry hornets. February 10th, 2078. November 24th, 2056. March 19th, 2024. I couldn't stop them. They flooded my conscience, swarming my thoughts relentlessly, and it was driving me insane. I sprinted the rest of the way home, staring at the ground the entire way. I'd made a huge mistake. I needed to figure out how to ditch my newfound ability before I lost my mind. But how? Hey Steven, how was the park? Mom asked. As I trudged through the door. It was fine, I lied, averting my gaze. Is everything okay? You're pale. Steven, look at me. My heart began to thud against my chest like a jackhammer. I really didn't want to, but I was going to have to face Mom eventually. I'd have to deal with it sooner or later. Blood pounded in my ears. As I lifted my head, time seemed to move in slow motion as I begrudgingly glanced up. I was beginning to think that it wouldn't come, but it did. August 6, 2065. I released the breath that was caught in my throat, as unbridled alleviation coursed through my veins like a drug. Mom was going to live to be 81. I'm fine, Mom, I promise. I'm just tired is all. I'm going to take a nap. Alright, honey, Mom said, a tinge of suspicion percolating her words. But don't sleep too late. Dinner will be ready in a few hours. I flashed her a thumbs up as I disappeared upstairs. I pushed open the bathroom door, turning on the faucet. I splashed a handful of cold water in my face. Why the hell did I think any of this would be a good idea? I mean, the man literally told me that this ability had ruined his life. My head began to spin. I needed to get a grip. I locked eyes with my reflection. All the color suddenly drained from my face. I nearly passed out, grabbing the shower rod for support. I knelt to the toilet, spewing vomit into the bowl. It's been 2 hours since then, and I'm terrified to my core. Because every time I see my reflection, the date September 2nd, 2023 won't stop flashing in my head.